Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about tokens in Java programming. So before seeing tokens, we will see what is Java character set. It is a set of valid characters that a language can recognize. So for example, if you type any programs, you will use some characters. It may be alphabets, it may be numbers, it may be operators, it may be any special characters. All these are called as character set. Java uses Unicode character set. Now we will see what is a token. The smallest individual unit in a program is known as a token. So we have some types of tokens available. We can say keywords, identifiers, literals, operators and punctuators are some of the types of tokens. So first we are going to see about keywords. A keyword is nothing but a word that conveys a special meaning to a language compiler. So for example, Java as a compiler, so it recognizes some words and it will be represented as keywords. So you cannot use these keywords anywhere in the program other than specifically used in the program. Say for example, if you are using continuous statement, it is used for some specific purpose. So these are some of the keywords which is given a table. So you can pause the video and you can just go through the keywords. Next is we are going to see about two keywords, const and goto. You call it as reserved words. Reason is this will not come under keywords because it is reserved for some purpose. Say for example, const is a keyword which is used to make a variable constant. And also goto statement is a reserved word. Reason is you are going to if you are going to jump from one part of the program to another part of the program, you will use goto statement. Same like that, you got some words like true, false and null. These are all not keywords, but it is called as reserved words. It is used for some specific purpose, mostly as literals. Next we are going to see the topic identifiers. There are these are names given to identify different building blocks of a program, such as variable, class, method. Normally when you name any class or a method or give a variable name, you have to follow some rules. Okay, so these names are called as identifiers. So it can be a class name, it can be a method name, it can be a variable name, anything. So you can see some valid identifiers available where you can see my file, we don't have any special characters, and second you can see that date 9/7/77 which has some underscore which is acceptable. The underscore can be acceptable before the identifier and also $sign. So these two symbols, underscore and $sign, are the two symbols allowed in identifiers. Invalid identifiers, you can see hyphen symbol in the first one, data rec, so it is invalid. 29, so it is a number which is used before the identifier, so it cannot be an valid one. Break is a keyword, so you cannot use it as a valid identifier. And then next one is my file. You can see a period, that is dot, which is an special character which cannot be used as an identifier, so it is invalid. There are some rules you have to follow. Identifiers can have alphabets, digits, underscore and $sign. This is what we saw in the last slide. They must not be a keyword or boolean or null literal. So you cannot use any keywords. You cannot use boolean like true or false or null. These are all comes under literals. They must not begin with a digit. That's we saw an example. They can be of any length. So you can use variable or a class name or function name with any number of characters. Uppercase and lowercase letters are treated differently. So if you write something, same word in uppercase or in lowercase, both are different. Next topic we are going to see is literals. So literals, commonly known as constants, are data items that are fixed data values. So if you store a equal to 10, so in this case a is a variable and equal to the assignment operator, and 10 is the constant. So that normally we say that the constant will not change its value throughout the program. So there are some literals available: integer, real, boolean, character, string and null. So we are going to see one by one. First one you are going to see is integer literal. These are all whole numbers without any fractional part. It has three types: decimal type, which has a base 10, that is 0 to 9. Numbers from 0 to 9 are decimal. Octal, which has a base 8, and it has the number from 0 to 7. If any number starts with a 0, so that is a octal representation. Next is hexadecimal, the base is 16. It has 16 numbers, so 0 to 9 is first 10 numbers. Remaining 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are represented with alphabets A to F, and it will be represented with 0x. Next is literal you are going to see is floating literal, or you can call it as real literals. So real literal is a fraction form consists of signed or unsigned digits including decimal point. That means if you have a number with a decimal digit, you call it as a real literal. There are some valid one which has minus sign also, and invalid one, the first example you can see you got two dots, it is invalid, and you can see the second example where you have a comma, that is a special character, so it is invalid. So exponent form of these real literals also is given. So you can see 0.58 E2, that E represents the exponent symbol. So in this 0.58 we call it as mantissa, and after E you got a number which you call it as exponent. So this is a scientific notation. Next is Boolean literal. It has only two values, true or false. If the condition is true, the Boolean value which will be returned will be true. If it is wrong, the value will be false. So the type is always Boolean. Next is character literal. If you have a single character enclosed within a single quotes, you call it as a character literal. And it has some non-graphic characters like escape sequence, which can be used in an output statement so that it will be executed. Okay. So it will proceed with a // sign. You can see a table. You got a list of escape sequence available, but few are going to be used in the program. Say namely /n. If you want to break a line, you can use /n, and if you want to leave a tab space to move to your text towards the right hand side, you can use /t. If you want to print double quotes, you can put /double quotes. If you want to print single quotes, you can put / single quotes, like that. It goes on. So you can just go through the escape sequence available. Next is string literal. Set of characters enclosed within double quotes. Say if you have a set of characters, you cannot enclose it within a single quote, so you have to put double quotes. You call it as string literals. So namely you can say text or your name or city name, all that. Next is null literal. So null literal, it has only one value, we call it as null. That's it. So if you say, for example, if you want to make a string empty, normally it is a reference type. Okay. In future, when now you learn about objects or strings about that, then you will know about what is null literal is. Now we are going to see about punctuators. There are some punctuation symbols. These are all nothing but special characters used. So you can see question mark, then semicolon and dot. So question mark is used as a conditional operator, and then semicolon is used as a terminator, statement terminator. Dot symbol is used for connecting an object and the function, and then separators like parenthesis to enclose the variables. Curly braces, it's like starting of the program and ending program. You will have some statement. So set of compound statement is been enclosed within curly braces. Then square brackets, where if you use arrays, you may use this square brackets. Next is operators. These are all symbols used to perform arithmetical logical statements. You can see arithmetic, relational, logical. We will be seeing these operators separately in another video. So thank you so much for listening. We will see you in the next video.